All right, we are recording. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our September team virtual Zoom meeting. We do these every month where it's the second Tuesday of the month, so you can expect that. And this month, we're having our fall kickoff. So if you have been with Stella and Dot for the fall before, or if this is your very first fall, get excited because this is the best time of the year to be a stylist. And typically, when we talk about our businesses, we tend to think in quarters of the year. So, of course, right now we're in the last month of the third quarter. So, sidebar, check into where you are and where you stand on your Stack Up the Style seasonal sampling perks, because you do want to be mindful of that for the end of the quarter. However, I really think that September is marking the third of the year as really this great block of time where fall's starting, people are refreshing their wardrobes, and then that ushers us right into the holiday season, which of course is our biggest selling season of the year. And you can expect to see a lot higher trunk shows and more interest and all of that. So it's a really, really fun time. Of course, not that there is not always a great time to book a trunk show all the times of the year, but holiday shopping is definitely a driver for sure. So kicking off with a little bit of inspiration, and those of you who are in the Inspire program already heard this today, but I just really loved it, what Megan Maloney, our fabulous East Coast regional from the home office, shared about her experience today with kicking off her day with her workout. So she shared with us that she had a long day yesterday. They had their meetup locally for Stella and Dot, and she was getting home late, and she works out at Orange Theory. And I've never personally gone to Orange Theory, but I do know they're pretty notorious for their cancellation policy, where if you don't cancel within like an 8-hour window of time, you are still going to get like charged for your class. So it layers in a little bit of extra motivation there to show up, right? So she said she was going home and she was kind of like feeling exhausted from the day and thinking, maybe I won't get up early and do that workout, and maybe I'll just, push it off to a later day. And then she had a second thought and said, you know what? No, I'm just going to figure it out. I'm going to make it work, and I'm going to wake up and get my workout done. And she shared that not only did she feel amazing for doing it, and it just kicked off her day today on an amazing foot, but she actually had her best workout ever. And with how, like I said, I haven't done Orange Theory, but they like have a tracking system so you can compare your progress and all of that. And it was her best workout ever. And she said it felt so amazing to have made that decision. And to apply that to our businesses, what are the things, and really to life too, of course, right? But to apply that to our businesses, what are the things that we're constantly procrastinating on that maybe they're on our to-do list, but we keep pushing it aside, or we keep thinking, I'll just do that tomorrow, maybe because it's something that makes us a little bit nervous, or just because it's not one of our favorite things, but we know if we do it, it's going to make a big difference in our businesses, and we're going to feel so much better for having done it. So I just challenge you to kind of ruminate on that this evening and think about what you could just do, just get it done and make it happen, and how good you'll feel once you do that. So transitioning that into your business for this best fall season, what are your goals for the season? So you may not have had a chance to see this yet. I posted it about 10 minutes ago in the event page on Facebook, but you can go up back and reference that later, or if you're watching the playback for this, that link is there as well. It's from the Stylist Lounge, and it's this really handy fall goals worksheet. And it's all based around our simple business plan. So to start off and think about where you want to go with your goals, think about what your holiday why is. So oftentimes when you think about, what is your why with Stella and Dot? Like, why are you a stylist? But that is extremely broad, right? Like, if you're thinking just in general, what do you love about being a stylist? Maybe it's the jewelry. Maybe it's the great connections that you have with the women in our community. Maybe you love how good it feels when you're at that style session and you're helping another woman feel really gorgeous and confident. So whatever those broader reasons are amazing, but what's your specific why for the next 4 months? What's going to get you going to do those things that maybe you do want to procrastinate on? And then how are you going to get there? So does anyone want to share what a holiday why might be? So what I mean by that is, what do you want to do with the money that you earn from your Stella business from the holiday season? Is it that you want to use it to have a debt-free holiday and buy all of your gifts for friends and family? Do you have a savings goal? Do you have a trip coming up that you specifically want to save for? And maybe you haven't thought about this yet, so you don't know, but I do want to just pause. And if anyone wants to share, I would love to hear what your holiday why might be. Make sure to unmute yourself if you want to say something.
I would be happy to share my goal if you would like.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So I have already shared this with Charlotte and a couple of people before, but just put it out there in the team universe. So my goal for the end of the year, so it's kind of holiday, kind of just like for the rest of 2018, is to accumulate enough on my blue card $5,000. So I actually don't want to save up to spend anything. I actually want to intentionally not do anything with that money. I want to hoard it. I want to hoard on my blue card. So that's my goal, is to hoard away, tuck 5,000 under my mattress, which is really my blue card. So
I love that. And how's it going to feel when you get there?
I mean, it's honestly, it's so important to me, there's just a feeling when you see something growing and you're getting closer, and just, that's a big number. I mean, $5,000 sitting there that you don't have earmarked for anything is a big number. It may not be in the big scheme of things. I could blow it pretty quick if I really wanted to, but at the same token, that's just a really, really nice feeling to have that in your back pocket. No, it's just secure. It's warm and cozy feeling is what it is.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing.
Of course.
Does anyone else want to share? Ariel, are you talking? Hold on, I'll unmute you because I know you're driving. Were you saying something? Maybe not.
Bottom line.
Oh, are you there now?
Yeah,
Okay, I think you have really bad reception, so I'm going to mute you again, and then if you want to share later, you totally can, but we cannot hear you. But thank you for trying to share.
Okay.
All right. Well, we will move on from that. Of course, you do not ever have to share if you don't want to. But it's fun to hear what other people are going for, and definitely inspiring. So if you haven't thought about that at all yet, I mean, take some time to think about what you want out of this, what your holiday why is. And then that second question about it too is, what is it going to feel like when you get there? Creating that like emotional connection is really important to helping you reach your goal, because if it's just thinking about a thing, then I think it can often be easy to give up on it and to kind of give up on ourselves when you hit a stumbling block or when a challenge comes up. But when you've really thought about how good it's going to feel and how rewarding it's going to be to achieve that goal, it helps make it real in your own mind, and it creates like this bond within yourself towards that goal where you don't want to give up on yourself, and you'll be more likely to push through those challenges and overcome the obstacles and find a way to make it happen. So how are you going to do it? The key really is working the simple business plan. So if you are not familiar yet with what that is, it's our really simple plan to grow your business, and it has an emphasis on newness in your business. So it actually explains the simple business plan right here at the top of that fall goals worksheet that I referenced. It's all about meeting 20 new customers each month, most likely from 2 style events. However, you can kind of choose your own combination. Just that style session is really going to be your most efficient way to do it. And then from those 20 new customers, enroll 10 of them into Style Club. You want to make sure that at least 5 are going to redeem their credits before they expire. And then layering on sponsoring and qualifying 1 stylist per month each month. So it's very doable. It's all designed around someone who has a full-time job and a busy life. So I love that about this simple plan, because that really is the majority of who we are as stylists, are women who have other jobs and other things going on. So it's a really, really achievable plan. If you need more like training on the simple business plan or have questions about it, check out, there's so many resources in the training and more section of the lounge, or of course we can talk about that offline. It does have that emphasis on newness. So a great thing if you're a veteran stylist and you've been around for a while is that you might have repeat hostesses from previous years. And I know I've had hostesses over the years, especially over the holiday season, who really enjoy hosting each year. And it turns into like this fun annual event. However, that's not going to necessarily get you to that goal of 20 new customers, right? It's still going to be amazing sales, amazing earnings, but it's not getting you into new groups, and you're less likely, and I've found this from personal experience, that when you have that repeat hostess, if it's all the same guests there again, like if you didn't sponsor one of them last time, it's probably not going to happen this time either. Of course, obviously that's not a hard and fast rule. Maybe someone had a change in their life and now it's a good time for them. But I do find that, you're just not bringing newness into your business. So how are you going to do that? You want to use the 10-10-10 to meet new people. And this is a new idea. So if you haven't heard it yet, or of course, if you're a new stylist, you might be like, what are you talking about, Charlotte? We just started talking about it about a week ago, and it is this really amazing new idea that has been brought to Sell and Dot by our new head of sales from home office, Lisa Hendrickson. And I think it's just genius, and I think it's going to be really game-changing if we all start doing this, myself included, like especially with me being in a new city. This is going to be really helpful. So I'm going to break it down really quickly, but there is a video in Training and More with Lisa Hendrickson. She does a whole training from the virtual fall kickoff that took place last Wednesday. A whole training that's on Booking where she explains this into full detail. So what it is it's just a structure to help you be intentional about meeting new people. You're going to go through for each week and ask yourself, where are the 10 places that I go? From those 10 places, who are, one person from each one that maybe you don't really know very well yet, or that you see all the time. So like a great example for this would be, okay, you go to your son's soccer practice every week. You always see this woman with brown hair, but you've never really gotten to know her before. So that would be a great example. And then your goal for the week with each of those 10 people is just to learn something about that person. So it really isn't that you're leading with your business at all. It's just all about meeting new people. And of course, you can imagine what's going to happen. Naturally, you're going to have conversations with them, and then they're going to ask you about yourself, and it may come to talking about your business organically. Of course, every single person that you speak to of those 10 isn't going to be like, tell me what you do. I'm a stylist. Oh my gosh, I want to book a trunk show with you. Like, that's obviously not how it's going to go down, but it just gives us a formula of how we're going to meet people. And then how do you actually book? Again, if you want to see this in more detail, go watch that video for the actual tactics. But it's all about consistently doing the reach outs and following up. And Jess Burnett, who's on this call, was talking about this recently, and she is such a pro at this, of sticking to the plan and just doing it every week, and remembering that the follow-up piece is so, so important. So you always want to reach out to about 10 people to book one. I like to remember that that's your numbers and your expectations. So when you get those 9 no's, that's totally normal and you're on the right track. And then for more training, you know, reference that video on the lounge, and that dives into total detail on that, or attend a local fall kickoff event near you. That's going to go into more detail, but of course, you know, we want to keep this a timely call tonight. I'm actually, and I should have posted about this earlier, but I'm actually doing like a guest speaking tonight for another Stella and Dot team that is going to be around sharing some of the systems that I've created that I use in my business to stay consistent and get great results. That's going to be at 9 p.m. It's a little late. She's in Texas, so she's an hour ahead. But if you want to hop on that, I'll share the link too. And so that'll actually be a little bit more diving deeper into booking training. But that is really the gist of it. It is coming, giving yourself some space to think about what your goals are and what your motivation is for the holiday season, and then creating the system and the structure to make it happen. So that is basically all that I have to share with you tonight. And I would love to open it up for us to chat with each other and hear, you know, what's going on with you. How are you feeling about your business? Are you excited for the season ahead? You know, and maybe we can just sort of break the ice by, if everyone, I'll unmute everybody. And if you want to share, and if you have something going on in the background and need to like remute yourself, feel free. But what's everyone got going on? What are you the most excited about for the holiday season ahead?
I will share, even though I'm like creepy in the dark. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I think I'm most excited about hostesses being excited about it. I think I have reached out over the summer and even the spring, like for what I thought were maybe low hanging fruit of my friends and, you know, people. And I feel like that's such a common, I don't want to say excuse, but that's what's coming to mind. Like for people that are like, oh, I really want to, like, but maybe in October closer to holiday or something, or November. And now like it's now or never. So there's kind of no more like, is Brad like talking to you right now, Charlotte? Husbands. So there's no more really like excuses for those types of people that were like, oh, reach back out to me in the fall or whatever. And then I still think there are still some people that are like, especially some of my hostesses that kind of like know the deal. They know October is a really good month to be a hostess, and early November. So they are kind of like saying that now. And I'm being really good about saying like, okay, so then I'll reach out to you in like 2 or 3 weeks. And they're like, okay, great. So I just think like being really clear, and then that's what I'm excited about. I mean, you still have to reach out, but I do feel like the excitement among hostesses is also there now. So yeah.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. I mean, it's the time of year that people are shopping the most, and hostesses know that too. So, you know, they kind of know, okay, even if my friends might not necessarily shop for themselves, like they can find someone to buy a gift for. I think that's a good one.
It's definitely a good feeling when you know, you get that, I don't know, when you just have a partnership going instead of feeling like you're, yeah, I totally agree with you, Jess. That's how I've definitely felt like lately. The last couple ones I've done and the ones coming up, I just feel like it hasn't been as hard. I've given the coaching and they've just been like, okay, good. And they've done it. And I'm like, whoa, that's how that's supposed to work. It's a nice thing.
Yeah, I think it's good to like remember, like it's good to see too that feel like things come in waves. Like you have like a wave of hostesses that you just want to like strangle them all, and then like you finally get another like a really good one that it is a breath of fresh air, and it's nice to remember. And I don't know if anyone's been feeling that way like recently. Like if there's anyone who's listening who has had a difficult hostess or a bummer trunk show, like just know that literally everybody has them, and it's just the people who keep going and get to that next fun hostess and an awesome trunk show that are more successful over the long term. It's nothing else that's like special.
I'm also looking. Oh, sorry,
sorry.
Catherine.
No, it's okay. Go ahead. You go ahead.
Kind of like maybe it's the same thing I was saying, but I am looking forward to people not traveling. I think sometimes that like summer hostesses think that like summer's such a fun time and people want to, and it is a fun time to like have a girls' night, but it's also just people travel. So I think it kind of like is a buzzkill for them too, when they like have like this real excitement and then their first 5 friends say no because they automatically know that they're down the shore that weekend or something. So I feel like from now until like almost Thanksgiving, for the most part, like people are here. Like no one's really that I know of goes on vacation this time of year. So I'm excited for that. Like, you know, I feel like a Thursday night trunk show is so good in September and October.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what I was gonna say was just, you know, looking back last month, you know, I had 4 trunk shows, and 3 of them were about $1,200. They were purple dot, like amazing trunk shows, and then I had one that just bombed. So I think sometimes, and did I do anything different with her? Absolutely not. You know, so it's like one of those things that, yeah, they come in waves, and it's nice that most of them were doing what I asked, and she did supposedly what I had coached her to do. But there's sometimes just gonna be that one off, and you can't like, yeah, it can be frustrating, but luckily I had the others to keep me motivated. But if that's what you have for that month, or that's one of the ones that you're really counting on, it can be a super bummer. So it happens no matter what you do.
Yeah, that's like one of my favorite mantras that I always try to apply to my business is don't overthink things, but do over plan. So like when I'm looking at my plan for the month, or when I'm doing my reach outs, I would rather reach out to more people. Like if it's 10 to 1 and I'm like, you know, I really want to make sure I book a show, maybe I'd rather reach out to 20 people to increase my odds, you know, like what's that probability? Or if I have a certain sales goal, you know, why not book an extra show just in case one of them, you know, what if one cancels? What if you have a hurricane come through and that messes everything up, you know? Or if just one is, you know, the sales are lower, but then what I find usually is it all kind of like comes out in the wash to where it like things average out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's really good perspective to have. And I think sometimes, you know, if you see someone else in Stella and Dot who has like these amazing sales numbers, like you kind of think like, oh my gosh, she must have like just every trunk show is amazing. She must be like on fire and perfect and do everything. And I bet people felt that way, Catherine, when they saw your sales last month about you. And so I bet at least somebody out there, whether it's someone on this call live or listening to the recording, is like, oh my gosh, like she had a bummer trunk show last month too, and she was top in sales on our team. Like that is, it's encouraging.
Yeah, it totally happens.
So in general, it sounds like people are feeling really good. Things are on the right track, and I am noticing our trunk shows are on the rise. Is there anything, you know, that anyone else who's on, or anyone in general, I mean, anything that people are struggling with or that you feel like nervous about, or anything else that you might want to like just chat through before we wrap this up?
I'm feeling good, but I would also say that I know I am feeling like nervous too. So I'm in the Inspire group with some other people, and I feel like for the most part, the other Jessica, I don't know if you're in Inspire or not, but the standards each month are to sell 2,500 and sponsor one. That goes on to Jumpstart Qualify. So I'm trying to make that, but then I also had some bigger goals for October and November as well. So just like feeling nervous, and I like kind of what you said that I said earlier, Charlotte, like over planning, and then also just like taking action, like I've definitely found myself like refreshing my business page. Like, no one bought anything from you. Like, first of all, you would have already gotten the email. Like, that's weird. And like, that's just not going to happen. That's just not how this works. And it's like not the time of year to just get like a random order in the middle of the night for the most part. So just like reaching out and like going back to the drawing board and like thinking of people outside of like your normal list, like thinking like last night, Jamie and I and Melissa were on a call and we were like thinking of different groups of people. Like, so you might think of, I don't know, just like different ways to like spark your brain to think of someone that you haven't thought of yet that might have an interest in this. But yeah, so I'm just like really nervous. So I'm sure, and I've been doing this for a few years. Like I know there's a lot in our Inspire program that haven't done this for like even half a year. So I think, yeah, to just like, and like ask questions from other people, because I feel like that I've found the biggest truth nuggets I've found from people are by connecting with other stylists that I don't even like necessarily had ever met before in person. So
what I love, like I'm obsessed with everything that you just said, but I do have a follow-up question, which is were there any, like specifically when we were chatting about different groups, were there any like good ones that you just haven't really thought of before that might be kind of off the wall? We didn't come up with any that I had been like, oh, I never thought of that group before. But we talked about pediatric cancer, like people that might be passionate about pediatric cancer or breast cancer. And then and then like, again, like the teacher thing. And then like people who had maybe just had a baby like 3 months ago, not any sooner than that. But for both a stylist and like getting a style refresh, or maybe someone who's going back to work after a maternity leave, that probably hasn't bought like normal size clothing in forever, stuff like that. But then I was also thinking, and I would love this idea from other people, I really want to do like a chemo package thing for October. I have no idea how to go about it. Like, do I need a concert? I can't even speak. Contact my local chemo like center. But then also because September is pediatric cancer month, like could I start it now? Like, I don't know. I'm just I would like to hear who have done that before and how to get that going. Yeah, I would, if you have a place in mind that you could donate them to, I would probably reach out to them just to like basically say like, hey, I want to do this. It's no like work on you, but just to make sure that they would like to accept the donation. Just one of those things where you don't want to just show up with like all this stuff and they're like, who are you? But I don't see any reason why you couldn't start like collecting them now and promoting for it now.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So I just need to figure that out and do it.
So what I did them last year, and what I did, it's a little different. It would be a little different this year because this year the poof isn't one of the actual like breast cancer awareness items. But what I did, and this actually might even work better because like for the charity items, we earn reduced commission on it. So I just had people say like they want to sponsor a pouch, and I would just have them Venmo me. I think I made it $26 just to account for like tax and shipping of the $24 poof. And then I used 100% of the money that I earned from it to buy the supplies. So what I did is I like just figured out however many I all like had sponsored, and then I just did one big order, and then I just went on Amazon and bought bulk like little lotions and socks and things like that for to stuff the pouches with, and then put a little like note on it. And I didn't even put in there like my business card or anything because I didn't want it to be like a
Weird
any
thing,
type
yeah.
of like promotional thing at all. Like I just wanted it to be like a nice gift. And there were like socks in there. So it was really well received. Like the people who sponsored them like loved the idea. And it was like a, even though I didn't earn anything on it, it was like 500 PQV at least. I can't remember exactly. Because I think I had like 20 something people do it. So it is a good way to like get some sales and do a nice give back type of thing. Then my other question, do you have any other questions about that? Because I don't want to forget my other question that I had for you.
No, I don't.
But now I'm sort of forgetting it. But it was, with feeling a little nervous about stuff, like what helps you get through that?
What? No, I'm just kidding. I think just like taking the action, like stop being a spaz. And then like also just talking through new ideas. I think I get nervous when I think I really get nervous when I know like I haven't put in the work to like get the results. So then that's why I'm nervous, because I know I'm not doing what I need to do to accomplish it. And then also sometimes I get nervous when I feel like, okay, I've done everything. Now I've like hit a wall and I don't know what else to do. Just like talking through with other people. So it depends on like probably what's making me nervous. But, yeah.
I think that's really like good advice. And I think it's funny because you're such a self-proclaimed procrastinator.
I really am the worst.
But you're also really good at just doing it and not overthinking it. Like once you get to that place where you're like, okay, I've got to stop procrastinating. Like you're really, really good at just being like, all right, I'm not going to be obsessed about like the words. I'm not going to be obsessed about what time it is. I'm just going to do it because I've got to check this off my list.
I'm a total rule follower, but I don't know, like this is like my guilty, like weird pleasure or something. Maybe I'm just a freak. Like I love the thrill of like in college, like you have 15 minutes to write this paper and it has to be an A, and I would like do it. So I don't know what it is about this too that I'm like, it's 8:15 at night. You can only text people for 20 more minutes. You have to text 30 people. Like, wow! I don't know.
Jess, I'm the same way.
I'm a freak.
I'm a total procrastinator. I always have been, and it's like my worst thing. But I feel like if you are that way, that you get in a zone that you sometimes cannot get yourself into any other way.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know.
It's now or never.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as you get it done, like however you get there is good. And then I would guess that then it feels good afterwards because you're like, okay, I did it. All right. Does anyone else have any last minute thoughts, questions? We have 3 minutes before we get just kicked off.
Thoughts. No, I'm excited. I'm excited for the holiday season and so many things that are coming up. I feel like I've heard so many great ideas shared, and I'm so glad Jesse went into the chemo care proofs. And, I've heard people talking about doing a guys shopping night. And I was just thinking today about like reaching out to maybe some local like bars and being like, hey, your guys are here watching Sunday football. Can we set up something where they can shop while they're watching Sunday football, or, like something. I've heard so many good ideas to take advantage of the season we're in. And there's definitely, you can just feel the energy shifting, and it's a great, great feeling. And I love that we're all kind of taking full advantage of that and sharing ideas and making the most of it. So.
Perfect. Great way to wrap things up, Catherine. Thank you.
Sure.
So we will leave that there, and I'm going to post the recording. I'll also repost that worksheet with the goals if you want to be able to access that. And don't forget that next week we have new stylist training at 8. that's great too. If you just want to get a refresher on anything, like even if you're a veteran stylist and you're like, I need to like brush up on some stuff, you can hop on that. And Jess Burnett's going to actually be leading that next week. So I'm super excited because she is doing a really good job helping all of her new stylists launch really strong, including Jamie, who's on this call right now, who sold over 2,500 and hit power seller in her very first month as a stylist, which is super amazing. So can't wait to hear from her, but then don't forget that we do these the second Tuesday of every month. So end of month, we'll do another blitz and brainstorm ideas and stuff like that too. And, let me know if there's any other topics that you want to hear about. And I will also post the link if you want to hop on at 9 for the call about systems. And I'll post a recording about that too if you're like, that's past my bedtime. It's nearly past my bedtime as well, but hopefully I'll stay awake, right? All right. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you for coming on to the call, and can't wait to connect with y'all next time.
Night. Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Bye.